Good?
Yep.
All right, you need me to say my name or anything
Yes,
like that?
please. Name and title.
All right. My name is Elan Zektser.
Can you spell that?
Sure. E-L-A-N, last name Z-E-K-T-S-E-R. I'm a partner at Oakwood Legal Group. And I thank you for coming here today to the district office where we wanted to speak. We are here today for a number of reasons. Two specifically. I represent a young man, a child, who was hazed and sexually abused at Fallbrook High School in the athletic community. We are here today to discuss what happened to him, what steps we are taking, but more importantly to himself, to myself, and to the parents of this community in the athletic community at Fallbrook. We are here to talk about what's been happening for far too many years in the athletic department, why it's been happening, and who's been letting it happen. We are not here today to talk about the people that sexually abused and sexually assaulted my client. That is the problem, but the bigger problem is this. The administration of this district, the coaches at this high school, the athletic director knew what was happening and did absolutely nothing about it. Nothing. These are children. Almost all of them are minors. And at Fallbrook High School, for many years, coaches were allowing these minors to run around naked on the school premises, completely naked. I'm not talking about in their underwear. I'm talking about completely naked. They were running from one side of the field to the next. Some of them by choice. Some of them were bullied to do the act. New kids on the varsity team were forced to take off all their clothes by the older kids and run from one pole to the other pole. And my client, a young man, did not want to do the act. He said no. And because he said no, he was punished by the rest of the team. A number of the varsity young men cornered him in a locker room that was unsupervised. They locked the doors. They tackled him. They attempted to take his clothes off while they were yelling that they were going to rape him. They themselves, a number of them, took their clothes off and attempted to put their penises in his face. Can you imagine how scary my client, a boy, felt in that moment? Can you imagine? And after this act was done, my client continued to receive social media texts on his phone, threatening him that these boys were going to rape him. We have those texts. The school has those texts. There is video. The school has this video. And the truth is this is not the first time. We have learned through investigations that this kind of hazing has been going on for years at Fallbrook High School. We know that there are dozens and dozens of victims. In fact, the boys that even committed the acts to my client, I argue today that they are victims of the school administration as well. It starts and it ends with the adults in the room. And in this situation, in this case at Fallbrook, There were simply no adults in the room. And that is where the problem starts. For years, these kids were allowed to run around naked. For years in the locker room, they were pulling their pants down, putting their penises on other kids' faces. For years, there were children that were being forced to participate in this kind of hazing because they were being bullied, because they were being peer pressured. And let me tell you something. These kids and these parents of these kids had no one to talk to. They had nowhere to go. The coach did nothing for them. The athletic director was literally the coach doing nothing for them. That is unheard of. That is unheard of, that there is an athletic director that is also the coach. Who is watching what the coach is doing if the coach's boss is the coach? The district allowed that to happen. And you see, the problem is that the coach was doing nothing about it, the athletic director was doing nothing about it, and the athletic director / coach is married to someone in these buildings, in the administration of this school district. Where are our children supposed to go talk to and report this? Where are our children's parents that are being affected allowed to or are able to go and report what is happening? For years, no one has been able to give a voice to these families, but that ends now. And that ends not because the school decided for it to end, not because the coach decided for it to end, or the athletic director said we're putting a stop to it, or the district said we're putting a stop to it. It ends because we as a community are going to force them to put a stop to it. We have filed the government claims already, my client. We have filed it because of the horrific hazing that he was forced to go through. We have filed it because of the sexual abuse and harassment that he was forced to endure. And we have filed it because of the negligent supervision that this district is committing on our children in the athletic departments at our schools. Right after the government claim has been filed, we have to wait a certain amount of time and the lawsuit will follow. And we will make change. I am open to questions today, to anything. My client does have some privacy rights that I don't want to get into. He is a minor still. But I am here today because he is speaking up. I am here today because his family is speaking up. I am here today because other families have contacted us, have contacted me and said, please do something about this. And I know, my investigators know that there are more victims out there. And I plead with them to come forward. Make change. Change is needed here.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
First, is this isolated to a single sport, and can you say which one or ones it is?
Sure, absolutely. What we know about is the Varsity Baseball Team. So what we can say is we have video, we have firsthand witness report, we have text messages that tell us this has been going on for years and years in the baseball department. But I will not say that it's isolated only to that department, because the athletic director, who is in charge of all of the sports, has been letting this go on in the baseball community. So who is to say it's not going on in the other communities? I want to stress this. These children are not being supervised whatsoever. They have access to the locker rooms. They have the code to get into the locker room. No one's letting them in. They're letting themselves in when they want to go in. No one's letting them out. No one's no one's locking up. These kids who are minors, in some instances 14 years old, are being left in charge of what's going on in the locker room. That is insanity. That is insanity.
Lastly, I just want to clarify, you're not pursuing legal action against the students who did the act, is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Our legal action is against the institution that allows this conduct to occur. Now, my understanding is law enforcement is involved, and whatever the police department and the district attorney's office decides, that is on them. But what we are here for is something much bigger, and that is to put an end to allowing this kind of conduct to occur. You see, coaches, athletic directors, teachers, we send our kids to school to be mentored morally, ethically, educationally, and when the people that they are looking up to are saying this is okay, then they are the problem, not the children themselves.
That's all I have.
All right. You have any questions?
The footage that you have, is that something that very few people have seen?
It is only I have seen it. A few people, kids on the baseball team have seen it. The district has seen it, and I have shown it to a couple other people.
Some of the community has said that there is no footage, so you got it. You got the footage.
I do not have the actual footage of what happened to my client. I wasn't in there controlling what was occurring. I say a couple things. One, the school has cameras all over the school. I've seen them personally. So they have footage. They've been on notice of the nudity that's occurring amongst the children, the running around.
I understand that the sheriffs might have footage of what went on in that locker room. Is that correct?
That's very possible. Unfortunately, my client had a number of penises in his face and was just trying to get away, for his life in what he thought. Rightfully so. What we do have is we have a ton of footage of what's been going on in that locker room. Kids sharing it with other kids. Other penises being put in other kids' faces. Kids running around naked. We have that footage, and we have handed that over.
What has the response been from the school?
The response from the school has been silence. Absolutely silence. Our understanding is that the coach is no longer coaching the baseball team. However, he still remains as the athletic director in charge of all coaches. How is that possible? How is that possible? So, right now the school district is doing their own investigation. They have requested my client come in and speak to them a number of times. Despite my client giving them statements, despite my client giving them written statements, and we are done participating in their sham investigation. They clearly are not taking it seriously. They have the athletic the athletic director still in place, and so now it's time for legal action.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Guys, we